Thank you so much. I'd like to now invite a ministerial response and ask the head of the delegation, His Excellency Mr. Kumaran Periasamy, the Additional Secretary of Economic Relations and Development Partnership, Ministry of External Affairs of the Government of India, to say a few words.
His Excellency Musa Faki, Chairperson African Union Commission, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, President of Kenya, Excellencies, Heads of State and Heads of Government, Ministers, dignitaries from various international organizations, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honored to represent the Government of India at this historic Africa Climate Summit. The conversations over the past 2 days are an important reminder for all of us that the pathway to effective and enduring global climate action goes through Africa and with Africa. That developing countries, and particularly Africa, lie at the front line of our response to global warming, climate justice, climate adaptation and mitigation, food security, and biodiversity conservation. On behalf of the Government of India, I would like to congratulate President William Ruto for leading from the front for Africa on this vital issue, and applaud the Africa Climate Summit for underscoring the salience of Africa in addressing the climate conundrum ahead of COP28 in the UAE. I extend our congratulations to Kenya and to the African Union on the adoption of the Nairobi Declaration that crafts an agenda for AU ambition and action. India will work with the African Union on forging effective international climate action that works for developing countries and for the African continent. While developing countries have contributed little to the climate-related challenges that we face today, we remain disproportionately affected by climate-induced disasters. Ladies and gentlemen, as this summit closes, another summit hosted by India is about to begin in New Delhi on 9th September that will bring together the G20 countries. Climate change has been a key priority of India's G20 presidency, and it will find ample reflection at the summit. Ambitious outcomes adopted by the G20 towards climate action include the G20 high-level principles on lifestyles for sustainable development, the G20 high-level principles for a sustainable and resilient blue economy, the G20 high-level voluntary principles on hydrogen, G20 voluntary action plan on doubling the global rate of energy efficiency improvement by 2030. We look forward to unveiling more initiatives at the G20 summit in Delhi. Excellencies, it is India's belief that the Global South has to be a much larger and more vocal participant in finding solutions to intractable global issues. While most of us resoundingly endorse the urgent call for climate action, the ability of developing countries to take effective climate action is interlinked with the availability of means of implementation, such as climate finance, transfer of technology, and capacity building. The world needs to come together to make available accessible, adequate, and affordable climate finance to the developing countries, including Africa, for effective climate action and meeting their NDCs. Developing countries cannot deploy low-carbon climate technologies at scale unless a facilitative global technology transfer regime is in place. Recognizing this, India has undertaken a number of initiatives to fight against climate change. India counts on Africa as an invaluable partner and ally in these efforts and initiatives that can help harvest our intersecting opportunities and address our shared challenges. President Ruto welcomed us to a brave new future in his address here. It is a vision of the future that resonates with us, a future that recognizes the interconnections that bind us, and a future where our potential as countries and as people have an opportunity to find their due expression. I close by saying you have India's steadfast partnership in this endeavor. Asante Nisana, thank you and namaskar.
Thank you. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, today Africa speaks with one voice in telling the world, here we stand and change you must. Africa is the future of the world, and we are all so proud of the promises made and the progress in the Nairobi Declaration, and the $23 billion in commitments. Congratulations once again to all our leaders, especially